Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 585. Hold the book on Psalms 23. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Drop by over at Weavers. They got great stuff like Mayberry's finest coffees and bacons. It's summertime. You need a t-shirt. You need a Myers Lake t-shirt. You need to go fishing like at Myers Lake? Head over to Weavers and check that one out. There's also a great one I like. It's got a lot of characters on it, 9 different ones. Mayberry Squares t-shirt. Go check that out. Lots of t-shirts over at weaversdepartmentstore.com, so go check it out. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. The executive producer of episode number 585 is Susan Gozer. So Susan, thank you for your support of Two Chairs No Waiting. I'm Alan Newsom, your host for Two Chairs No Waiting. It's great to be in Mayberry with you. Every week we get to spend us a little time, and wow, we've been doing this for 12 years here on the podcast. Wow. And so this episode, I think you're going to like. It's called, I'm calling it Hold the Book on Psalms 23. Back in September of 2015, a group of tribute artists, there were several of us, 4 of us, that got together at Bellevue Baptist Church near Memphis, Tennessee to perform a play that was called Ernest's Rock Concert. And that play was written by David Browning, the Mayberry Deputy himself. He was in the play with us, obviously. But a portion of the play, it was a portion that had been written, a segment of it that was written by Joe Gritton. And it was called the 23rd Psalm. Now, listeners of the podcast, you guys, hopefully remember Joe Gritton's name. You might have heard him. Sometimes he's known around on the internet as the Untrained Voice as well. But he's the writer of several episodes of Two Chairs No Waiting that featured Bert Miller. Oh, bother. Oh, hello, Floyd. Bert and Floyd doing interactions of one type or another. So, and get this, I was talking about how long I've been doing the podcast. Joe's first podcast where he had written a little segment, it was a flashback he did on episode number 17. He wrote this little flashback section for me. And it's called Bert Miller Barbershop Flashback. That's what the episode's called, number 17. So, wow, that was, 17 weeks after I started, basically. He had already written this and sent it to me, and I was able to record it. And that was just the first one. He's written several since then. As a matter of fact, there was, I think, episodes number 191 and 192. I actually have re-released since then. I can't remember the number of the episode, but I re-released them together because back in the old days when I first started this, the podcasts were not more than 10, 15 minutes long. And now they're 30 minutes plus a lot of times. And so I was able to take those two, put them together and make it a old time radio show type program with special effects, sound effects, and everything. And all this is thanks to Joe. Now, so I'm bragging on Joe a lot. So thank you, Joe. Now, let's get back to what I was talking about originally. This play that we're going to listen to a portion of in just a few minutes here is has Barney trying to recite the 23rd Psalms. Hold the book on Psalms 23. You got that pretty quick. But Barney's going to try to recite that as Floyd's holding the good book on him. And hopefully you're going to hear or see, depending on whether you watch. If you watch the video version of the podcast, you'll actually get to see this. But you're going to hear or see just a little bit of the preamble of the Constitution or an officer of the law, those 2 scenes that were on the Andy Griffith Show. This is another one that's similar, that Joe came up with this idea and put it together for David Browning, and then we used it in this play. And I really hope you're going to enjoy this. So without me talking any more about it, sit back. It's even in black and white if you're watching the video version. So you might want to listen to this, and if you like what you hear, maybe you want to watch it later. But we're joining Floyd, or actually Barney, in the courthouse with Floyd. And Ernest T. Bass is loose. So Barney's trying to figure out how best to handle catching him. And he says, Andy used to look in the good book, in the Bible, and find ways to do things. And so that's where we're joining them. So let's head over and hear from Barney and Floyd. David Browning is Barney. And some guy that hosts a podcast you might be listening to as Floyd. So let's head on over.
Saw Andy refer to the Bible a few times when he had a problem he had to deal with. But of course, I don't really need it myself. I got the whole thing right up here in the old steel trap.
Yeah, I heard you knew something like, 50 verses or something.
Oh no, I wouldn't say 50. More like 500, I guess. Yeah, I started learning them when I was a kid, and well, they just stuck with me.
500?
Yeah.
500? Well, you're like a scholar or something.
Well,
Yeah. I guess you know all the major verses of the Bible that people tend to memorize. You probably know them all, don't you?
well, probably not all of them, but most of the ones they teach you in Bible school.
Yeah?
Yeah, I started memorizing them when I was 3 and kept it up right on through high school. I know lots of your creation verses, some of the major prophecies, many words of the Lord, lots of verses from the letters to the Epistle Paul and Romans, Corinthians, Galatians, Venetians.
You said, you Venetians? Yeah. Did they have blinds by any chance?
Well, they did. They did, but the Lord healed them. Made them see.
Yeah, that's good. So you learned all these when you were a kid, did you?
Oh, yeah, they're right up here in the old steel trap.
Well, I tell you what, Barney, why don't you come over here and sit down? We'll try to run through some of them.
Huh?
Yeah, we could run through some, maybe.
Oh, no.
No?
Oh, Floyd, I really don't like to talk about it, you know. People start bragging on me and everything. I can't help it if I was born with such a gift.
Well, I'd like to see that, Barney. Let's see. I've got the good book right here. I know. Hey, I'll just hold the book on you and see. How about, let's do Psalm 23. Psalm 23.
Floyd, you can't just pick some random verse out of midair and expect somebody to know it.
Well, Barney, that's a verse everybody learns at Bible school and everything. They learn that whole chapter, 23rd Psalms. They know that.
Oh, the 23rd Psalm. You said Psalms 23. Oh, yeah, I know that one. Yeah, Psalms is one of my favorite writers.
Yeah. Well, come on, sit down here. I'd like to see you do this. That's good. You still remember them even from you being a child, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I remember it, yeah.
All right, well, good. Let's see here. Let's try this one then. I'll hold the book and you try to go, all right?
All right.
So, Psalm 23, 23rd Psalm.
Psalms 20. All right. Psalms 23, 23rd chapter, Psalms, chapter 23.
23, yeah.
Psalms.
That's right, 23rd.
And it goes, you want to give me that first word?
First word? Thee.
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 Thee?
Thee, yeah, thee.
Well, that's not very much help. Give me the next
All
word.
right, the Lord.
The Lord.
The Lord.
The Lord. The Lord.
Lord. Yes,
Next word.
Is.
The Lord is good. The Lord is great. Let us thank Him for our food.
No, Barney. No, that's a children's prayer you do. That's not...
Well, I know that one. You want to hear it again?
No, let's just stick with Psalms 23. The Lord is mine.
The Lord is my friend.
No.
The Lord is my friend.
No.
The Lord is my friend.
No.
The Lord is my shepherd.
No.
The Lord is my shepherd.
Shepherd.
The Lord is my shepherd.
Shepherd.
Yeah, that's just like the 23rd Psalm.
This is the 23rd.
Well, all right. Give me the next word. Give me the next word.
The Lord is my shepherd.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall sing. I shall praise.
No, I shall not.
I shall not sin. I shall not covet.
No, that's not it. I shall not want.
I shall not want sin.
No,
I shall
no. It's I shall not want. Period.
I shall not want. Period.
No.
Why would I want? Period.
No, it's not period, Barney.
Huh?
It's I shall not want. End of sentence. A period.
Oh, I shall not want.
Yeah. There you go. Well, that's verse 1. That's the first verse. Yeah, you want to do the second? You want to keep going?
Second verse?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
All right, so I shall not want. All right,
I shall not want.
Next word.
He
maketh me yeah,
breakfast.
No. Maketh me to lie.
He doth not.
No, Barney.
He maketh me truth.
Yeah. That's
or
right.
tell truth.
No, that's right. But the verse is, he maketh me to lie down.
Down here?
Yeah, lie down.
Here?
No, just sit down. It'll be all right.
Well, don't lie to me, and I will sit down.
Okay, well. He maketh me to lie down in
pajamas.
No. Not green pajamas. No. He maketh me lie down in green pastures.
Pastures.
Yes. He leadeth me
to the valley.
No, not to the valley. No. Beside the still waters. Yeah. He restoreth
my motorcycle.
No.
My car?
No. My soul.
My soul?
My soul.
My soul don't need restoring. It's as good as new.
He restoreth my soul.
Soul.
Yeah, okay. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness. Yeah. For his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
I knew there was a valley in there. I know there's a valley.
You're right about the valley. Yeah. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemy.
Yeah.
Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Yeah. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Until we die.
No, forever.
Forever.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah, forever.
You got it? You think you got it now?
Oh, I got it.
You got it?
Oh, yeah.
You don't
500 verses. Ask me anything.
Yeah.
Got it right up here in the old steel trap.
That was pretty impressive, Barney.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I know them all.
All right, well, I'm going to head back over to the barbershop for a while.
Yeah, I'll see you
later,
Floyd.
Barney.
See you, Floyd. Smart aleck.
Oh, David Browning is so good at that. That is so. We had such a good time doing that. We did it one time at Colonel Tim's. I don't know, maybe 2 years ago or something like that. Maybe the last year, I believe he was at Mayberry Days. We did that scene, or we did that during Mayberry Days during Colonel Tim's. What a fun time that was, and thanks to Joe Gritton for writing that. And wow, David Browning just made that seem so easy, and that's just a fun scene to do, and hopefully that brought a smile to your face as you just remembered. Even if you're only listening to that, you could just picture, couldn't you, Barney dragging his hands through his hair as he is trying to remember, and his hair all being messed up. It was such a fun experience, and wow. Thanks to David Browning for letting me be a part of that. That was so fun. So, folks, we have a couple of voicemails tonight. I wanted to bring these in. Now, we had a voicemail a few weeks ago from Darren, and I'm going to play his first voicemail because it got cut off. We're going to play it, and then we're going to play his second one, and then we got a couple more. So let's hear from Darren.
Hello, Alan. This is Darren, your blind electrical engineering friend. And I just finished a couple weeks ago listening to all of the Mayberry Bible Study podcasts, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and it gave me the inspiration to go back, and I realized I hadn't listened to the episodes in quite a long time, and I listen to the episodes. I have a computer program that actually takes the audio out of the DVDs, off the DVDs, and puts it in as MP3 files because I don't need to see the video part. And there was a couple of things that struck my mind. The first one is in the early season number 1, particularly the early episodes, because of the way my audio player works, just playing one episode after the other, you can tell that the closing theme and the opening theme are not in the same key. I do not know why this is true, but as a professional musician for 40 years, I can easily tell that they're not in the same key. This could happen for a number of reasons. They could have increased the speed of the opening theme, which would also raise the pitch to meet some sort of timing requirements, but I thought that was one thing. But if you listen to the closing theme followed immediately by the opening theme, and a lot of the episodes in series are season number 1, you will discover that. And the other thing, it was kind of interesting to see how the character of Floyd, who I know you play as a tribute artist, it took him several episodes to develop into the Floyd that we know. Because if you see in the very first few episodes he was in, he was...
And that was where it cut off on Darren. So we talked a little bit about the pitch, and if you guys had heard if you had heard the episode previously, we talked about the pitch on the beginning and the ending of the episode. The music is different, and luckily Darren, because I was dying to know what he was talking about with Floyd. So here's his voicemail follow up. So here it is.
Hey, Alan, this is Darren following up on my email or voicemail from last week. The other 2 points I wanted to make very quickly, so you could put them on the show in the next week or two, were one, I wasn't sure exactly why they had the opening theme and closing theme in different keys, because I would have thought once somebody did all that beautiful whistling in that song, they would have used that as the basis for the opening and closing theme. And the other thing is that I wanted to point out is in the first few episodes that featured or that included Floyd, I didn't think his character was very well developed. And the first time I thought he was the Floyd that we all know and love was the episode called The Beauty Contest. I felt like that was when he really became Floyd. But if you go back and look at and they're very short scenes with Floyd in them earlier than that episode, you will see that they are, he's just not very developed well and does not have the mannerisms and does not have the voice and the everything else we know and love about the idiosyncrasies of Floyd. So take a look at that. And that was really what I was going to tell you about before I got cut off last time. So anyway, I just wanted to follow up with another phone call and let you know what I was thinking. And I'm enjoying re-listening to all the episodes. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Wow, thank you, Darren. I'm so glad you called back, because I did wonder what it was. And I have to agree that at least in the episode, I believe that the movie, when they were going to make the movie on the Andy Griffith Show, I believe that was before that. I always thought Floyd talked a little different in that episode. He sounded a little bit more like Orville Monroe, the Undertaker. He talked a little bit more like him. So I think you're probably right. It takes a little while, I think, a lot of times for the characters on a show or to develop into who they are. And the Howard McNear character, I do believe, Floyd, he worked into, I think, honestly, being him. Because everything I've heard, Floyd on the Andy Griffith Show was pretty much Howard McNear. That was the way he acted. And so I think he probably started off a little nervous about, wanting to be the character, and then just kind of fell into the role. And wow, were we blessed to just experience the Floyd that we all got to know, both before the stroke and then after he had the stroke, when he slowed down and started getting into a little bit more like that in talking. He went from a kind of more hyper person down to that. So wow. Thank you for those insights, and thank you for calling back. And we have another voicemail. This is from Joseph.
Hey, it's Joseph Kubat, Williamsburg, Virginia. Enjoy listening to your podcast. I'm one who likes the color. I'm visually impaired, and the color is easier for me to see, so I like the color films. Enjoy your show. And the man who couldn't see, I'm visually impaired, as I said, and you learn to use that hearing so I can understand where he's coming from, and I'm glad he can enjoy the programs. But thank you, and God bless. Enjoyed my stuff from Weavers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you for shopping at Weavers, and thank you for calling in, Joseph. That's awesome. Yeah, I am glad to know, too, that the show, because I can listen to the episodes and just the audio of it and visualize everything that's happening because I've seen the episodes. And it's nice to know that people who are not as visually capable are able to hear the nuances that happen on the show as well and put them in place and kind of figure out where they are. I'm so glad that it's enjoyable, even just verbally. That is a real testament to me of the writing and the acting on that show. So, wow, thank you. And the color episodes, Joseph was talking about, we've talked about that before. Randy Turner, who we're going to hear from in just a minute, I've heard him tell people before that say they're fans of the Andy Griffith Show, but they don't like the color episodes. He's like, well, then you're not a fan of 3/8 of the show, almost half the show, because there's 5 seasons in black and white and 3 in color. So that's 8 total. So if you don't like the 3 color episode years, then that's 3/8 of the entire series you don't even like. So, I mean, that's a lot. So turn the color off. I promise. This came up the other day. We were talking about the color, and I do believe there's something about the Andy Griffith Show in black and white that is more nostalgic. It's just more innocent is the thing I kind of came up with. And I think maybe some of that, I mean, I know the characters are a little different, but I think some of it is just that. It's just not the same in color. Tonight, the thing if you were watching the video version, the play that we did, I actually made the video black and white that we have because it just looks better. I don't know. It just feels better that it's in black and white. But the color episodes have some good things in them. And I do encourage you, if you can't stand the color episodes, turn off the color on your television, turn it down, and then watch them in black and white and see if some of them at least are not really, really pretty good. I think you'll enjoy them. So our last voicemail, this is a real short one, so let's go ahead and hear from Gene.
Hey, Alan, it's Gene Ackman in St. Louis. Just saw your podcast, man. That was fantastic with Court Howe and also the interview about Rodney Dillard. Look forward to doing more.
All right. Well, Gene, thanks for calling in. Yeah, that was awesome. I'm glad he enjoyed it. Had an interview a few weeks ago with Court Howell, talking about the Mayberry Man movie and about his dad, and because his dad was on the Andy Griffith Show. If you don't know, he was Dud Wash. And so that was a lot of fun. That was the first interview I'd done with a Skype interview, I think, or maybe that was the second. Anyway, that was the second one because I did one with Keith. So hopefully we'll be able to do a few more of those and get some more people in and be able to interview a few more people. So you don't just have to listen to me. But luckily, you don't have to just listen to me. There's a great guy who's with us every week and has been for, 2.5, 3 years now. I don't even know how long. But so let's go and hear from him, the Randy Turner, with This Week in Mayberry History.
Welcome to This Week in Mayberry History, a report by special correspondent Randy Turner of the Gomer and Cooper Pyle Comic Book Literary Guild of the Mayberry Historical Society.
When Mayberry fans think about a bluegrass band that was part of the Andy Griffith Show, most would think of the Dillards, who played the Darling Boys. But before the Dillards appeared, another band appeared in 2 episodes with the great Clarence White on guitar. Clarence was born on June the 7th, 1944 in Lewiston, Maine. His family was of French-Canadian heritage from Canada, and their last name was originally LeBlanc, so they changed it to the English translation of White. Clarence's father played guitar, banjo, fiddle, and harmonica, so it is not an understatement to say his children were exposed to music from the beginning. Clarence picked up the guitar at the age of 6, such a young age that he could not comfortably hold the instrument, but he eventually proved to be a child prodigy. In 1954, when Clarence was 10, the Whites moved to Burbank, California. Clarence and his brothers formed a band called the Little Country Boys, with Clarence on guitar, brother Eric on banjo, and brother Roland on mandolin. The band originally played straight country music, but eventually transitioned to bluegrass. 3 years later, Billy Ray Latham and Leroy McNeese, who performs as Leroy Mack, joined the brothers. With Billy Ray on banjo, Eric White switched to bass. Leroy played dobro, and by the way, is a frequent guest at Mayberry events. Shortly after Billy Ray and Leroy joined, the decision was made to drop the word little from the band name to become simply the Country Boys. When it was time to film the first season episode, Mayberry on the Record, the Andy Griffith Show producers needed a real band to be shown playing with Andy while being recorded by Mr. Maxwell. The Country Boys were cast as these unnamed townspeople who were also great bluegrass musicians. Mayberry on the Record featured the band prominently, though just on one song. In the Country Boys' second and much less prominent appearance in Mayberry, most of the band appeared again as part of the group who went to Sam Becker's farm in Quiet Sam after the baby was born. Mandolin player Roland was absent from their brief appearance, as he was at the draft board being inducted when the scene was being filmed. The Country Boys also performed 4 songs with Andy on the 1961 album Songs, Themes, and Laughs from the Andy Griffith Show. In September 1962, the band changed its name to the Kentucky Colonels. At that point in bluegrass, guitar was generally used more as a rhythm instrument. Clarence met the legendary guitar flat picker Doc Watson at a concert by Doc in Los Angeles and was inspired to begin using the guitar more for soloing with the band. Clarence had already developed his own flat-picking style, and he soon incorporated elements of Doc's playing style, including heavy syncopation. Add to that Clarence's blindingly fast speed of picking, and it becomes clear why many experts attribute much of the credit to Clarence for making guitar a true lead instrument in bluegrass. For example, on the Kentucky Colonel's second album, Appalachian Swing, Clarence's virtuosity on the guitar was on full display. This led to music critic Tom Owens stating that it was Clarence's playing that helped pioneer a new style in bluegrass. Namely, he redefined the acoustic guitar as a solo instrument. As the first half of the 1960s passed, thanks to the British invasion and American bands like the Byrds playing what was beginning to be called folk rock, the Kentucky Colonels switched to electric instruments and added a drummer. By doing so, they joined the Dillards as one of the premier bands in what was called the Newgrass movement of the early 1960s and became fellow pioneers of the country rock genre. When the Kentucky Colonels disbanded in 1965, Clarence expanded his already existing interest in straight rock. He began playing a Fender Telecaster in hopes of getting steady work as a studio musician. He eventually met Gene Parsons. In 1967, Clarence and Gene invented the Parsons White String Bender, or as more commonly called, the B-Bender, a device that enables a guitarist to simulate the sound of a pedal steel guitar by bending the B string. In July 1968, Graham Parsons, no relation to Gene Parsons, the singer and guitarist for the Byrds, left the band, and Clarence was invited to take his place. Clarence stayed with the Byrds until they disbanded in 1973. Clarence was involved in more groups both before and after the Byrds than I have time to discuss fully here, but by July 1973, the White Brothers had reunited. On July the 15th, 1973, while Clarence and Roland were loading equipment into their car, Clarence was tragically struck and killed by a drunk driver. Clarence was only 29 years old. Clarence was inducted individually into the International Bluegrass Music Association Hall of Fame in 2016 and inducted along with all the members of the Kentucky Colonels in 2019. Well, that's it for this week. As always, thanks for listening. And remember to take care, be good to one another, and take Andy's advice and act like somebody.
Wow, thank you, Randy, for that great report. And if you want to make sure you don't miss out on any of the great things that Randy's doing on the internet and around the Andy Griffith Show, send him an email at turnersgrade@gmail.com, turnersgrade@gmail.com, and he'll make sure you don't miss out on anything. Like, for instance, right now he has an article in the Nostalgia Digest, an Andy Griffith Show article in this month's, I guess, the current issue, whatever it is right now. I don't know if it's May or June. I do know if it's May or June. I don't know which article is in. But if you want to get a copy of that, I think Randy could probably help you if you send him an email at turnersgrade@gmail.com. He'll help you find out how to get a copy. You got to pay for the magazine, but you can get it. I think it's $5.50 for the magazine. It's a really nice little magazine. I think you'll enjoy. Hey, Randy's in there. So support Randy. So help him out. That's awesome. So thanks, Randy, for being here on the podcast. He has been a fixture here on Two Chairs for years now. And I am really thankful for him taking time to do these reports every week, because that way you don't have to just listen to me. You get to listen to other people. Like our callers. We had Darren and Joseph and Gene. I want to thank them for calling in as well. I would love for you to do stuff like that. You can give me a call, if you want to. And let me know what you're thinking about the podcast and stuff at 888-684-8415 and leave a message. Keep it under a minute and a half, 2 minutes long. I don't remember, somewhere in that range, or it'll cut you off like it did Darren the first time. And I would love to hear from you. If you don't like to talk or something, you can email me at floyd@imayberry.com. If you forget any of that, just head over to twochairsnowaiting.com, and all that information can be found there. Plus, you'll be able to find some of Joe Gritton's other episodes. There's going to be a link in our show notes to all the episodes he did with Bert Miller and Floyd. So you can go and check them out. You probably want to scroll to the bottom and work your way up if you want to hear them in chronological order. Anyway, folks, I hope you had a good time. We'll see you next time here on Two Chairs. Good night.